Recording right now?
Yeah, but I'll cut the beginning.
All right. All right. Well,
see.
welcome to ThailaVision's Reveal podcast. This is Thaila Riden. I'm Sean Cooley, but this is Thaila Riden, like I just said. Everyone meet Thaila Riden. Thaila, what's going on this week?
Well, the biggest thing is actually I'm having you back.
Oh, yeah. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Well,
that's a really big thing.
Yeah. Because this is the fourth iteration of having you on, and thank you for coming on Reveal on ThailaVision, and very, very excited to present, you and chat with you, and learned a lot in our talks, and but we had some, technical difficulties.
You think so? You think it's interesting having me on?
Yeah.
I don't know if it really is.
I think so.
I'm just joking with myself, really. So what do we have lined up for tonight? I see the producers have a gamut of things for us to bring up. Yep, we'll get to that. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to everything tonight. We're going to try to run through all of the scripts, but I think we're going to go freestyle as well, a little bit as well.
Just a bit.
It is January 31st, 2023. Can you believe that? 2023. What year were you born?
I was going to say the future is now. I was born in 1982.
1982.
So, yeah.
Okay, 1982, I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I was born in 74. It's 2023. You were born in 82 on, January 4th? Or February 4th?
February 3rd.
3rd?
And, yeah, so...
It's your birthday this weekend.
It's coming up.
Big birthday celebrations coming?
I'm going on 41 years.
Wow, it's
I'm
over
in my
now,
40th
eh?
right now, and...
Over.
It's
over. It's over. Man.
The next... I try to, actually, I have to tell you, the whole, midlife crisis, I always kind of had that idea that was, in the 50s, but then reading up more, I guess, on the pop culture, whatever it is, it's more in the 40s, because I guess back in the day, right, midlife was, if you made it to your 30s or 40s, you were, you weren't expected to live much longer, right?
Past your
life
40s.
expectancy.
No, true enough, depending on
go back
how
far,
long
far back. It's been pretty good for the past 50 years, life expectancy.
Well, it keeps getting better.
And
I think to
a
fault, though, right? A lot of people stay living much longer than they should.
If you can have, there's.
I could name a few people that have stayed living much longer.
If you can, if you're hooked up to,
a machine,
a machine to keep
or
you
pills,
going,
it's terrible.
There is that life quality balance. I certainly hope that getting up there, that do what I can, eat well, and exercise, all those things. But so living long doesn't always mean living well. You
don't want to outlive your body or your brain, right? You just
certainly
I
think my brain more.
I don't think you want to.
Actually, no, either. I guess you're right.
Either.
The body, if that goes in the brain, still got you trapped in there.
My grandmother-in-law, sorry to cut you off, but I'll be doing lots of that.
I'll cut you
off all night long.
You're better talking than I am, man. That's why you're here.
That. This is what employs me, talking. But my grandmother-in-law, God love her, Gabrielle Harrison. I met her. She was in her, late 70s, mid to late 70s. And she's 103 now, turning 103 this year.
Wow. Hey, that's
103,
that's awesome.
I believe, or 102.
Did you say great-grandmother or?
Liza's grandmother.
Okay.
My wife's grandmother.
Yeah.
So my kid's great-grandmother. My grandmother-in-law. She is by far one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until her late 80s that she started feeling things not good in her body. And
geez, if we can only hope late 80s, okay.
Well, it's because she never took medicine her entire life. I think that's why, and it kind of almost conclusively says that now. And she stayed active, she stayed fit, but she also lived a life and ate well and, had the odd drink and had the odd cigarette as well, as we found out one time, well into 10 years after I know my wife. We show up at her house, or maybe not that long, show up at Grammy's apartment, go in like we always did. Liza's in the kitchen with her baking or whatever. And I'm sitting there watching TV, in a big old TV like this.
Yeah.
I'm watching it right on the floor, and there's a coffee table beside me, and there's sweets on the counter, and I'm all eating. And I look over on the the table beside me, and there's an ashtray with a couple butts in it. I'm like, Grammy doesn't smoke. Who was smoking in here? Why would someone smoke in her apartment? And so anyways, the night goes on, and we're talking away, and I'm like, hey, Grammy, who was smoking in here? She goes, oh, and my friend comes over. I always have a cigarette or two with her. I'm like, how do you do that in your life? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's anything bad. How do you have the power to not just smoke all the time? It's an addiction, right? Like, she enjoyed it, but she didn't smoke all the time at all.
She probably, does she have like an addictive personality versus,
I guess,
because I mean, once you take enough of it, then there's your body
absolutely.
kind of gets reliant. So maybe if you just passingly do it here and there, but good for her though. I mean, so she's able to enjoy life. With a few.
Well,
like,
she was now not so much. She, like I was saying, she lived her entire life, like grew up, and at times in her life, I guess they lived in a tent in kind of the northern part of Quebec.
Okay, yeah.
And like she told us she remembered mornings waking up and there was snow on her head because snow was coming in the tent a little bit. And I say that in the way of like, the spring or the fall sort of thing. Like, she woke up, she was fine, and someone left the door open or whatever while they were out making breakfast, and snow came in on her head, and she just cleared it up, get out, start the day. Such a powerful, strong, hilarious, fun, and positive lady. Like, so positive. That's another thing, right? You got to stay positive.
Mindset, yeah, that's huge.
And I remember mid 80s till close to her 90s, she was walking to the bank, walking to the store, getting this, going to the bank, and getting money out because she had to still deal with cash, and still politically, I guess, plugged in. Okay. I remember one time watching in the same living room, watching the news with her. Actually, we weren't even watching. It was on. And we were talking away and whatever, glancing. Out of nowhere, she goes, oh, I hate that guy so much. You never hear her say anything bad about anyone. And we look at it, it's Chrétien. Yeah. Didn't like Chrétien. Chrétien was what, a liberal?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I know nothing about politics. He was a liberal, eh? Okay.
Yeah. From, I want to say 95 to 2000.
Is he still living?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he's still living, yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It
would have been big, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's still around. So
was he in power 95 to 2000? Around there?
Was it when he had that, what was it, something about the book? Everything was in the book. He had this, like, his platform, and just like, it's in the book. It's in the book. And, and then something about no more taxes. He was going to cancel the GST. But yeah. So your grandmother-in-law wasn't a fan of that. So what would you say? So she, and we'll get back to politics for sure. I just want to kind of go on her arc. So healthy, and you're saying, so age, I guess, caught up with her? Is what you're saying,
in her 90s, her whatever started going. I can't remember what it was. I think it was her balance to begin, and then there was some things off. So she ended up taking some medicine. Okay. And then the medicine started making her stomach sick. Of course, as it would if you've never taken medicine in your life, right? Strong medicine. And then she had to take medicine for her stomach, and then just it's kind of been downhill since then. And she's been kind of out of commission, not herself at all, for at least 6-7 years now. Okay. And it's sad to see her live this long. I remember talking to her, it was before COVID, so probably 4 or 5 years ago. And sitting with her in her home, and she would be, like sitting in her chair. You go pick her up in the house, the home she lives in. Mm-hmm. And you take her downstairs. She's in a wheelchair, and she's got the blanket, and she's got the Kleenexes, and you know what I mean. Yeah. Bring her downstairs. It was her birthday or something like that. We always used to go visit her, and she was just a little more spaced out, right? Not with it. Mm-mm. But if you took her walking around enough, even the building, outside a little bit, had a drink with her, like a whatever drink, and started talking to her, getting her going, she would start to come alive a little bit. Okay. Put some music on, that really helps as well. Okay, good. A lot of stories about that.
Is she a musician or
no? She just would like some music on, and remember, I'd always play. What would I play with her? Crazy Eights or Go Fish,
Okay.
and just kind of got her head going, like
Yeah.
it was
kind of doing like The Notebook, the movie The Notebook. You kinda,
yes.
Just kind of get those synapses connecting again,
Yep.
bring them
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely.
Okay, and to delve on this, but because going through the pandemic, like in that kind of setting, that must have been a tough.
Terrible.
But the fact she's come on the other side of that, that's great.
Absolutely. And she got COVID at one point.
Okay.
And I remember at one point within the last year, she's falling and stuff like that. She tries to get out of bed to go pee, and she falls, hurts herself. And they find her in the morning, and she's not in bad shape, but I mean, she falls, she's bruised and this and that. Of course you are. If you're over 100, you get bruised. It's sad, and I remember her saying to me, whatever it was, 5 years ago, I remember her kind of like, I don't know why he's keeping me here this long. I don't know. And she's talking about God, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why he's keeping me here this long. One of the things that bothers me, and I can't really be too bothered about it because it is the way it is, there's no Catholic mass in her home, and and this is not a religious statement at all. I'm a Catholic, she's a Catholic. I always talk to her about going to church. My dad always went to church. They went to the same church back in the days, and she living in the place she is, there's no Catholic mass. So I wish I could get her to a mass, but it's nearly impossible now. Last time we went in to see her after COVID or whatever, right near the end, we went in. She had no idea who we were. No idea. Okay. And that was hard on Liza, of course, right? Yeah. And my kids as well, but not as much, kind of like me. And it's like, oh, okay, we understand. But she was very nice, and we'd bring her cookies and, like drinks. She certainly hasn't forgotten how to eat.
Okay, good.
Just jamming the cookies into her. And then Evie took her phone out and started showing her pictures of us originally, and they said, she was just kind of like, and not to mention, all of a sudden living in this home, which is in Quebec, it's in Gatineau, she speaks primarily French now, and she's always spoken English, but she spoke good French because she's from up in Rouen-Noranda.
Okay.
Grew up speaking French and English, but now she just speaks French, and she was trying to speak French to us, so it's just she's not there, right? And then, so Abby then showed her a picture of her husband right before he went to World War II. So that's how old she is, right?
Okay, yeah.
And she said, "Oh, say mo chum. Say mo chum. Mo chum." Like she knew right away.
Yeah.
Oh, say mo chum. And then she showed her a picture of him later on in life after he came back from war and years on. Oh, c'est mon fils. No, fils?
What's son?
No, husband.
Oh.
What's husband?
I want to say mon chéri, but...
yeah.
Mon mari.
Yes, mon mari.
Okay.
Mon mari.
Yeah.
And then, so she differentiated, easy for me to say, between her boyfriend, mon chum, and my husband. And then Evie showed her a picture of her probably in the 80s. Okay, so she was old enough, but she goes, "Oh, say that," and she did speak English. "Oh, that's me. I'm old there." And that was in the 80s. And it's sad, but it's also fantastic to know that she thinks her mom, she's like, "My mom just dropped me off here a few weeks ago. I'm going to be leaving soon." So okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
So she's living in that time frame. So it's,
I guess so.
So in one sense, kind of the silver lining of that state.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I guess the loneliness isn't quite
I think there is an end of life. I'll say it this way: I don't know what I believe in Jesus and Christ and God and Allah and whatever. I believe there is a higher power, of course, and I hope and believe that there's a higher power. Because it makes life worth living a little more for some people if you choose. Now, I believe there is an end-of-life plan that kicks in whatever length of time that your body needs to just survive. Those end stages. And I actually saw a video on that the other night. Many people, a woman that I guess deals with people that age that are dying.
Okay.
Right, are ready to
So
go
like
within
doing
the last
palliative care and all that
within the last couple of days. It's very, very normal for them to be like looking like really happy to be looking at something, and they're seeing something, and it's not like they die right then, but
Okay.
it's a real thing.
Kind of the psychology is kind of evolving, and okay, so that's,
I find that stuff really neat, and I hope and wish for it and believe to a certain degree, but that doesn't,
Oh, that's well, thanks for sharing that.
I find it really neat, that stuff. Because we're all going to experience it, right? It doesn't matter. We're not getting out of here alive.
The end game is you know, I mean that's part of the mortal journey. So
yes.
Now I just going back, so a life well lived, and we're talking, middle age, and it being relative, of course, to someone who's like, where 50 would be middle age if you make it to 100, and that's kind of always been my kind of frame, and of course, seizing life, and it's you never know when
it's over.
When it's over, it's
over,
and just enjoy it.
Yep.
And so now you've lived, I would say, a good life. You've kind of gone out and pursued your passion. So, I know you've been in radio more than 30 years. I'd love to hear again your kind of your artistic side. Being a musician myself, I'm always looking to hear what other artistic journeys people who take that step to live their life and their full potential. So
my first love when I was a kid was actually art, drawing. I love drawing, like drawing goalies and drawing hockey players and drawing.
You still keep up with some of the drawing?
No,
a bit?
Not at all. I
Me
wish
too.
I did.
I kind of.
I wish I did. And I remember when it changed for me, but I was right into art. I really enjoyed it. I'd spend hours and hours just drawing pictures. And so for some reason, I'm like, I want to, pursue this a little bit as a young boy. And I was drawing all the time, and I was taking lessons and this and that. And I took art in high school. And I do remember also taking art lessons and art in school. And at the same time, I was getting assignments. And as soon as it became assignments, it was over. Immediately.
Took the joy out. It became work.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
immediately gone. I don't want to have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do it. I don't want to have to do it.
Right.
And that's so that was my first artistic thing. Now and again, I'll pick up a pen and a piece of paper with my kids or whatever. I should do it soon too, and more often.
Mm-hmm.
But I was telling you this before. My first love after that was listening to talk radio.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Music has always appealed to me. I like DJs. I like MCs. I like the microphone. I like advertisements. I like the whole thing in radio. And I really kind of globbed onto talk radio. And it was first listening to Ottawa Radio, this and that, and the CFRA and whatever, and W1310. And then when I was about, it must have been 9, 10, 11, I had a clock radio, and at night I would go through the AM dial late at night. And you would be able to capture, as many people know, far off AM stations. And just with like a millimeter of a change on the dial. Right. So minute. And it was fantastic. And I found a bunch of radio stations, and I just fell in love with it even more. When I was around about the same age, maybe a year or two later, I started getting into the new music, rap music, right? Early 80s, mid 80s. I really enjoyed it. And as time went on, I got further into rap music, joined a rap group with my buddies. Three of us, the High Kings.
Okay.
3 white dudes from Canada. Or, no, we weren't even all from Canada at that time. But 3 white dudes from Canada. And that was it was after. All 3 of of us rappers had a parent die that year when we started the rap group. That year. Yeah, like we were at each other's parents' funerals because we had just met each other.
Oh, okay.
And, And so when I was about 16, I was working at my dad's gas station, maybe 15 even. Working at my dad's gas station. And a guy walks in, young guy, looks like a rapper. Like, I'm like, who's this guy? Smoking a butt. Walking in, hat and whatever the style was in rap those days. And he's like, are you Sean Cooley? Yeah. I hear you're a rapper. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, so am I. Pulled out some rhymes that he wrote down. Been my best friend ever since.
Nice. What's his name?
Darren Lusk.
Okay.
And his dad died that year as well. Isn't that crazy?
That's some synergy.
Not all 1987.
Okay.
All 1987 or 1988.
Okay. Yeah.
And so from there it was the High Kings. And so early on in the first probably month or two of the High Kings, someone told me there's this rap radio station downtown Ottawa. Not radio station, radio show. Okay. Probably 89. And 89, 90. I don't know. I'm terrible for dates. But found out there was a rap radio station down there. And we recorded ourselves on the microphone, rapping over an old De La Soul instrumental. And I said, we have to get this to the radio show because they're playing and they're a local rap group. We got to get down there. So we were like, okay, where is this radio station? We're coming down. And they let us into the studio. And it was Greg and Tom. And another guy was there, Geordie. So Greg Campbell, Geordie Ferguson, and Tom Green. The Tom Green of, B-class Canadian fame.
B-class. Okay.
He's Tom Green.
C for Canadian class.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
All right.
He was in a rap group as well, so we got to know each other. And meanwhile, my rap group is still going. His rap group's going. We're opening for them. We're doing shows together. We're now recording music at Tom's house in his basement of his parents' house. And from day one, the guy was funny. Always funny. And just so obtuse and so weird, but so funny. Keep hitting him, Mike. Some of the funniest things I've ever seen done ever is by him. No microphone, no camera rolling. It just some of the most ridiculous. Just his actions and the way he responds to things, and also all the live radio we did. So yeah, it kind of took off from there. So the bands, whatever, went on, and then both of our groups kind of broke up. By then, the rap radio show was turning into a talk show. I was heavily involved at that point. The co-producer, I was the phone guy. I booked things.
What was the show called again?
Well, it was called The Rap Show, and then we changed it to be called The Midnight Caller.
Gotcha.
It was Tom's show, but it was The Midnight Caller, and I did the phones and scheduled stuff and took care of things. Shortly after that, I got a radio show after his, and it ran all night. So I was there the whole night. So
all-nighter? Or what was that show called?
Pardon me? My show?
Yeah.
It was called The Breaks.
Okay.
The Breaks. Yeah. So there was the rap show, which turned to The Midnight Caller, and then The Breaks went on after. So yeah, many years of doing radio with Tom, and then we started doing his TV show, and I broke off of that. So my rap group was no more, which was fine. And I was in my early to mid, probably 23, 20s. And started getting into more computers and stuff like that. Realized there was sound capabilities on computers. Kind of got out of music for a few years, having a child, getting married. Just it happened organically. And a few years later, started getting back into computers. The software is just ridiculous now. What you'd pay $350 for 25, 30 years ago, you can do in 2 seconds on a downloadable software, right? For free.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Well, back then it was like Fruity Loops.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Fruity Loops. Kind of the same thing, though. Like same deal.
Cakewalk.
Yeah, Cakewalk. That's right. Cubase.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. But, so that's been my thing. So, stopped doing a radio show, and then it's gotta be 13, 14 years ago now, maybe 15, my best friend and I, Darren, who goes by the name Creed now, We formed together and did a radio show. Moved it to Ottawa, the same radio station I was on with Tom earlier in years, my own show for years. And we did that show, Moon Rapping, for 10 years, 8 years. And then went to podcasts, and now we just record now and again. I actually went up to his cottage. It was around Christmas, maybe just after Christmas, I think the weekend after. Went up to his cottage. We set up my recording equipment, leave it there, and we record. But this time, for some reason, it was kind of a different sort of setup. We didn't have a table, so we just sat on couches. And he was really, really tired. Neither of us were drinking. And there wasn't okay, so it's his cottage. And we used to just get all set up there, cook food and coffee and drinks and beers. And it was a party. But now he's living a kilometer away. So he doesn't have as good of a setup there. It's kind of like an outpost.
Okay.
Almost like a fishing hut now.
Oh,
cold. So we got the pellet stove going.
Outpost.
And he didn't even bother bringing coffee. So we were both kind of drowsy, but not really. I was fine. Okay. He was I remember he was holding his mic. He didn't have a mic stand. And he was doing one of these. So that was Moon Rapping. That was the latest episode we record. Okay. Who knows if we'll ever do anything with it. It's on my computer. But yeah, fantastic. Good times. That's been my journey music-wise. Okay. I did a radio show in Vankleek Hill for a year, maybe, called Vankleek Cooley. I was thinking about it tonight, because I drove by the fire station and noticed the sign. Still says 88.7 FM.
Oh, it's
Vankleek FM. As Jean told me how to say it.
Yeah.
88.7 FM. Vankleek FM. He was such a beautiful radio voice and such a beautiful man, but his radio voice was so CBC, like Vankleek FM. 88.7 FM. Like just CBC.
Yeah. Well, you've got a pretty good radio voice yourself.
I try. Thank you.
So with that journey, you've seen, I guess kind of through that, right, over 30 years, the evolution of what do you think of how things are in terms of now a lot of radio, it's, let's say prepackaged, but very, not so much curated by the DJs themselves, but there's, the programs are kind of out, and then your personalities on the radios aren't, quite off script as they used to be back. What do you think of where...
It depends. It depends. It's not radio anymore, right? It's just whatever.
I guess
like you said, prepackaged. Right. It's all prepackaged. Even when you're listening to radio, it's prepackaged. For sure it is. So yeah, it's a different thing. Radio is not what it used to be, for sure. There is the shining star every here and there that still does somewhat good radio. Nothing really around here. There's some good hosts on the radio here and there again. But because of that, it's changed. It's gone for good. It's still fantastic, but you got to look for it. It's a different ball game now. So podcasts and everything online, right? There isn't even the odd radio show. There is no radio anymore, really, when you come to think of it.
Right.
I feel anyways.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Most radio stations do have the digital, right? Stream us on your industry. Yeah. So, I mean that community run analog, if there is that still, because even
I also the first, I think it was 6 months, 8 months, somewhere around there, we did Moon Rapping from the radio station up in Killaloe, Ontario. Killaloe, Ontario is the only town that I find to be more of a hippie town than Vankleek Hill.
Oh,
Killaloe is the most hip. Oh man, yeah. It's the most hippiest town I've ever encountered in my life. Fantastic little town though. I did the radio show up there, and that radio station is still going, and they still have people that do shows weekly, like daily. Now there's hours that they just play re-records. And from what I understand, they were still playing re-records of, or replays of Moon Rapping like 2 or 3 years after we left, which I'm fine with, but it was weird.
It's kind of like those old, like growing up on was it CBC where they're playing the old Star Trek. It was like reruns.
Absolutely.
You know, just go through the old material.
Yeah,
that's good.
And the thing about that town, which was way different than Van Cleek Hill, people would call in, like, "Hey, here's the number to call here, and we'll put you live right on the air." Phone would always light up. Someone and we did our show at like 7 p.m. On a Thursday night or whatever it was, and the whole town would listen. Not like it's a big town, but people would participate, come down, walk and look at us outside the studio, wave at us, this and that. Okay. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, so I did radio in a few different spots. I did a radio show at CKCU once, right? Okay. That was an honor. CKCU has been around for a long time, Ottawa's biggest college radio station. And yeah, it's funny. I think it was yesterday on Facebook. A guy named Joel Murphy. He's from upstate New York, and he grew up same age as me-ish. Grew up listening to radio, talk radio. He's a radio host down in Cleveland or something like that. But he remembers the Midnight Caller. He remembers my radio show, and he still posts constantly. And he was talking about the early days of the Midnight Caller on Facebook yesterday.
Nice. Okay.
And he wrote this whole long story, and it was a picture of Tom Green and whatever. And Tom's still somewhat in the media news. He's still doing stuff, staying whatever in there.
In it. Yeah.
And this guy wrote this whole long thing. I listened to this radio show from upstate New York, or from all the way down here from Ottawa. It was at the college radio station. He actually said it was from Algonquin. It wasn't. It was from Ottawa.
Okay.
But anyways, he said, yeah, they had this radio show. They take calls. They do craziness, like skits. They would call people on the street. Tom would go on the street with a cell phone, which was mine, and
bring it back.
do all sorts of stuff.
Nice. And
it was a lot of fun. And he said, I hadn't met him, and I had no idea what he looked like. How would you know what someone looked like listening on the radio back then? Then all of a sudden he sees this thing pop up on, what do you say? I think it was community radio, but it might have been MTV days. Tom Green. He's like, oh my God, this is the same guy, but now it's a TV show.
Right.
And yeah, and he wrote about it and talked about how he married Drew Barrymore and went through the blah, blah, blah. And then I responded, and I'm like, good story. He's like, Sean, you too. And he wrote this thing about my radio show. Anyways.
That's good. Well, that just goes to show you the impact of that. There's people invested and still connected with that. That's great.
That clip you sent me reminded me of the Sean Cooley. Can't Fool Me.
Yeah,
did you listen to the whole thing?
I did. It was 12 minutes, I think. Yeah. It was just,
nonsense.
Hey,
absolute nonsense.
That's the magic of like.
That was the Midnight Caller.
Okay.
That was the Midnight Caller. My show is less of the just like, wow, this is crazy why they're just doing this over and over. But anyways, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Radio like that is way better than listening to anything else. You know, like as much as I love a lot of the music, I'd rather listen to two guys talk on the radio than listen to Black Dog by the Rolling Stones, by Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I love the song. Mm-hmm. Listen to it anytime. I'd rather listen to this on the radio than a repeat of every other radio station that's ever been around.
I wonder I know for myself, like, growing up, kind of had a bit of what, you're kind of listening a bit to radio and less the talk. Well, actually, I got into talk radio when I was driving, doing delivery runs. We'll get to it. We're working together, but so I enjoy the conversations because actually, you listen to music and sometimes things are overplayed. There's that good conversations, human dynamic, and I wonder almost aspects of theater. You know, like Orson Welles did with the War of the Worlds radio.
I have a story about that.
Well then let's dive in because I'd listened to the vinyl recording of that. And I'm like, man, they put on this production.
You have the vinyl of that?
I know someone as a kid. You know what? I might have it.
Me too.
Somewhere in the collection. It's not organized though.
That to me is an absolute masterpiece. what he did there, even though he got in so much shit.
Didn't tell anybody. Like, people think it's the real deal, and
people jumped off of buildings.
Yeah,
right?
and that's
people died because of that.
Yeah.
Orson Welles, oh man.
But just to think, early 20s, not even, and putting
was
on.
that when it was? Early 20s?
Because I think he was 25 when he did Citizen Kane. So, I mean, that earlier in his career, so he was just kind of starting.
Yeah, that was his first thing, right?
Yeah.
Like his first big thing. He was Orson Welles.
But you think of that, but it kind of made me think when listening to your productions, you're kind of like when you do the fake advertisings or the sound effects, things like that. It kind of like that Foley artist, kind of the art of putting together, the old skits from
radio drama.
Radio drama, that's the word.
I did a recreation of the War of the Worlds and made it moon rapping style.
Okay.
So it was really trippy and but I used a lot of pieces from the original.
Okay.
A lot of the same roars of the machines and the aliens and people freaking out, and I would, one scene and then play a song, and then another scene of War of the Worlds and then play a song. There was a few times where, Creed and I would do a scene of, okay, in the real one, this is what happens, but this is what we're going to do. Like, we're going to, you know what I mean? Like something stupid. We're going to be in a subway. We're going to be in a subway.
Okay.
And we're going to be trying to order something. And we keep hearing something outside, but we're trying to get the sub anyways.
Blast. I want the foot long.
And then the next scene of War of the Worlds would be an absolute direct cut from Orson Welles.
Okay.
Like of a woman screaming and Orson Welles talking and this and that and cutting down to the live on the scene. And then the next one would be us again, and then us again with pieces of that, some of the background. It was awesome.
Nice.
I produced.
You
this
have
one
that?
Too. I don't know.
Somewhere?
It's on a hard drive for sure in my house.
Okay.
But I got to look for it. I might have uploaded it at one point in time.
Halloween special.
It was fantastic, man. We did a lot of big productions. We did just crazy productions where we would be at a local fair for the night. Okay. Broadcasting live from the fair. This is moon rapping at Giemhastas, we called it. And it was a big, long acronym. Someone just pull in here?
No, that's just the road.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was a big semi that they come in.
You can tell?
Sometimes, yeah. Bigger trucks, bigger rigs. You can okay, big engine.
Yeah.
Comes through. But there you go, the sound effects. Right?
Yeah,
that was just a Foley, just a little...
Yeah, I put that in after.
Yeah, post-production. We can have horses go by now.
Yeah, absolutely. But we did many, many big productions of things down at the circus. We would have a thing called Cooking with Cooley. And it would be like this game show, and Creed would announce me in, and there's the music in the crowd. Okay, what are we doing this week? And then you hear all sorts of sounds from the kitchen happening. And I'd always forget which sound was next. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to boil this. And you hear the microwave start. And then you hear something catch on fire. And then, and it always ended with like a fritz, like an electronic fritz. Mm-hmm. And then gone, over. And we do a different episode of it every week.
Okay.
And now here's Cooking with Cooley. And the music was so perfect, introing it with clapping in the background. Hi, this week on Cooking with Cooley. It was so much fun. But I just remember
KD,
that
the hidden culinary gem.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, hey,
maybe it is.
Bring it up.
Yeah,
authentic. That's I really wish back in the day when I was still doing a bit of like plays and theater and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a local production where it's a play within a play where we're set in the 20s. Yeah. And we're doing a radio drama of Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, you told me that.
And then, but we're in the play, so on the stage, we're kind of playing actors who are going through this, and then the antics of that. But I was the Foley artist for that, and I'm doing the sound effects guy.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Really?
I want to say that Foley artist is that term?
Is that what it's called?
In movies, it's the Foley artist. The
Foley artist.
Yeah, is
never heard that term before in my life.
I think I got that right. Foley artist. Yeah, and they just basically cue up. with the image and then the sound effects, and it can be, like your coconuts for horse galloping or, whatever other. So I had Rainstorm was just, I had this bin of kidney beans and just pouring it out, just thunderstorm. And then.
How many times did you do this live?
We did the play, we only did twice, 2 shows.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite into acting when I was a kid in like junior school or whatever, before grade 6.
I guess in essence, radio, that kind of acting is just to the mic instead of in front of a camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah, performance, right?
Absolutely, it is big time. Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't. My dad was really good in front of a microphone, a camera, everything. He acted well into his, I think, 30s, 40s.
Okay.
Before I was around. Well, no, I was around in his 30s, but yeah, he was an actor when he first came to Canada.
Okay.
My dad and mom came from Ireland, I think in 66, 67. 4 kids under 4 years old.
Okay.
That's daunting. And
now the flying in, I would imagine. Yeah, okay, yeah, 60s. Yeah. So
there was planes in the 60s.
How accessible,
yeah, I'm sure
cross-Atlantic journey. But
they came with $200. $200. That's it.
And today's that'd be still that's tight though. That
$2,000.
Yeah, still that's tight. Yeah, start a new life with 4 kids.
4 kids under 2.
No house.
4 kids under 2.
Wow.
No job. No nothing. No, we don't know where we're going. I think I don't really know the whole story because I wasn't around then, but they must have had some sort of a connection. But so they flew into. It's funny, in those days, right? When you flew on a plane, you dressed up. It was a big deal, right? It was a big deal. And my mom and the other. Okay, so there was another family that came at the same time. 2 kids under 2. And they landed in Pearson Airport in Toronto. I don't know what it was called then. And I think it was the end of June or July, early July. And my dad said before he died, he said, to this day, I still haven't felt heat like that as I did that day when we landed. It was so hot. It was such a scorching day. Wow. But my mom and the other lady that came had fur coats on. Going to Canada.
Got to be prepared. She probably was happy to have that when winter came around.
No, actually, the story is, and I found this out at my dad's funeral, Anne, who is actually not doing well right now, she's the only one left out of the 4 of them. She said my mom and she gave, as she said in those days, and don't take offense to this, you might have to cut it out, the wee black man that was working at the airport, they gave them their fur coats. They weren't real fur, they were whatever, fake fur, whatever. They were get rid of these.
Pay it for. Okay.
I don't know what it was all about.
Okay.
And that wasn't a racist thing. They were just like that. It's the black guy. You know what I mean? In those days, that's what it was. They had never seen a black guy in Belfast. That's for sure. In those days. So yeah, they came, and from Toronto, they took another plane to Ottawa. The other family went from Toronto. They stayed there for a bit, and then they ended up going to London, Ontario to settle. Okay. And imagine having 4 kids under 4.
4 kids under 4, eh? And then just kind of trying to find work, trying to find a place.
I guess they went to a motel. 4 kids under 4 in a motel, and within an hour, my dad had a job. Sat down, opened the yellow pages, called European Motors, and he was a mechanic. Right? Very, very skilled mechanic. Called him up. Hey, I've just landed. Are you looking for anyone? Are you a mechanic? Yeah. You got your license? Yeah. Okay. We're going to send a car over in an hour. You can keep it for the weekend and start on Monday. So.
How about that? Yeah. Company vehicle to boot.
He hadn't even worked a shift yet. And he had a company vehicle. But that was highly sought after what he did, right?
Okay.
In those days, in the 60s, to be a mechanic, a good mechanic in Canada.
Okay.
Right? So, he worked under a hood for years and years and started his own business and still going. Cooley Automotive in Bells Corners.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That was also, so I was pumping gas at my dad's gas station when I met my best friend. It was Cooley Automotive. It was a Petro-Canada, it was a Gulf, and it was just Cooley Automotive for a time. It was gas bars for years. And anyways, that's where I met.
Still pumping gas or just a garage nowadays is Cooley?
Just a garage.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when I was 17, Petro-Canada pulled the pumps out of the property.
Okay.
It was their property. My dad never owned the property, but did well.
Okay.
And pulled the pumps. So as it went, Petro-Canada bought the property from Gulf Oil. Gulf, remember Gulf? Gulf. There's still Gulfs down in the States.
Okay.
If you saw the logo, you'd probably know.
Is it a lot of orange in
Yeah, all
okay.
orange.
Okay.
All orange.
I think, yeah.
Gulf, it looks like a hamburger almost.
Yeah.
It says Gulf.
Okay. Yeah, the
Beautiful
cheese kind of,
sign. Yeah.
Okay.
And blue, dark blue letters. So Gulf Oil, so it was Gulf gas station, and then Petro-Canada bought it, and within a year or two, they did soil studies, and they're like, oh, we got to change these tanks. It's doing the ground harm. And then a couple years later, they finally put those tanks in. And as they were putting them in, my dad was standing there. Gas pumps were shut down for 3 weeks while they did it. My dad was like, come on, get them going again. That's my money. And as they were putting the new tanks in, he's like, that tank's leaking. They buried it. Put it in anyways. But a year later, they did studies again. It was totally polluted. They pulled the tanks out. My dad didn't own the property. It wasn't his fault. He called it.
Yeah.
And they just rented him the property in Cooley Automotive for, I don't know, another 7 years. And at that point, Mike, my brother, the middle brother, moved the garage, the family business down the road. So still in Bell's Corners.
Okay.
Used to be on the main street, 3805 Richmond Road. And that was the address. And the number was, and still is, 613-829-2057.
Okay.
Back when it was only 829-2057. There was no 613.
No area code. Yeah, I remember.
That's still the number.
Okay.
And with Darren, with Creed on Moon Rapid, when we would make a false ad for something, it was always 829-2057. Come visit us at 3805 Richmond Road. And in that parking lot now, still, there is nothing after Petro. We got out, Petro-Canada dropped the building, dug up the soil 4 foot down, and then took it away and put new soil in. It hasn't been touched. But my brother has had his place now for 17, 18 years.
Okay.
So property untouched must be in bad shape.
I was going to say, here I'm going to put on my more political hat. There's some brownfield thing, remediate and build some housing there. Just putting that out there. Richmond.
Right on the main street of Richmond or Bell's Corners?
Is there some bus stops nearby?
Oh, yeah.
Walkable. Hey, I'm about walkable towns, man. I mean,
Bell's Corners was walkable, always.
So you know what? I probably have driven by that garage and one of those things. So now, what was the address again? So
3805 Richmond.
3805 Richmond.
So,
okay.
You've been to Bayshore?
Yes.
So if you took the main road past Bayshore,
okay,
it's about a minute later. Bell's Corners starts, the green belt.
Yeah.
It starts there.
Okay.
Right around Bell High School and that area. It's a bit of green area. And then Bell's Corners, it is a main strip. And it has been known forever as fast food, car dealerships, gas stations, and odd small businesses. It's changed a little bit now, but it's still pretty much the same. Okay. And then developments in behind it. Beautiful developments, too. So, yeah, that's Bell's Corners. Everyone's driven through it because there's not a real big reason to go there, if you know what I mean. There's everything you want there, but there's nothing that's not in every.
Right, you're not going to come from out of town to be. I'm going to come Bell's Corners.
I don't think so, unless you're going to a specialty place, maybe
or you're
the
going
butcher.
to see Cooley's garage. You put
Cooley
that
Automotive.
in there and get
Cooley Automotive.
All right.
It's on Stafford Road now. I don't know the address.
Okay.
It's a whole different thing. My brother runs it, although he's barely ever in there anymore. He doesn't need to be. And the funny thing about that is, neither of my brothers really are there much anymore, even though one brother owns it.
Okay.
He goes in if he has to, but he's got good mechanics in this thing. He just hired my daughter's boyfriend to work there.
Okay.
And I said to him last week, I'm like, you do realize you're the closest thing to a Cooley member if there's a phone call. He's like, oh. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm just joking. Because I still felt, because I have nothing, I've never had anything to do with the business. I pumped gas, I helped out in the garage, but then left when I was 17, 18. If I went in there and I was closest to the phone, I grab it. Cooley Automotive. Yeah, hold on. You know, like
yeah,
I'm part of the family.
I grew up doing the same kind of family business. We family run campground here instead of gas station, but still kind of. I guess people are coming in. You kind of get that. You have to make things go and
family business.
Family
right?
business,
You gotta
right?
get it going.
That's cool though. That it made the hop
things.
to the next generation, which is great. So that's awesome.
I haven't been in there in a while, but I got to get in soon. Enough.
An oil change.
Do whatever. Yeah, I do need an oil change. I don't go all that way for an oil change.
But it sounds like your car needs some TLC. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't think I'm going to get my brother to do it. And it's nothing against my brother. It's the fact that it's so far. Mm-hmm. And I understand when my dad ran the garage, I'd go to him because it would be much cheaper. Mm-hmm. Right? My brother still needs to make money because he's got to pay his mechanics.
Yeah.
Right? It's different when it's your brother, and I understand that completely. It's my brother. I want him to do well. He's put the investment.
You got your overhead costs. You got to cover it. Yeah.
Now, I will be able to be like, okay, he'll give me 25% off. And I'm like, can I pay you in 3 weeks? Yeah, no problem. One of those sort of things. It's my brother. But, yeah. Cooley Automotive, 3805 Richmond Road, 829-2057. Service you can count on.
So have you ever had, so you put that out there in an ad, has anyone called you, be like, or no, you know what I mean? Call the number, and I'm in this empty lot. Where is this? Or have you ever set it up where... You're
going to meet someone, 3805 Richmond Road.
Because there's an actual place now, so people.
Well, there's no.
Has anyone?
It's just.
Or
like
an actual.
Lot. I don't even know what it is now. It might even be like kind of maybe fenced off a little bit.
Okay.
It was on the main street of Bell's Corners. Harvey's, a bank across the street. There is like a bookstore and a barber. And an MTO place actually across the street. There's there's a cannabis place right beside it, which used to be a very, very famous steakhouse, Al's Steakhouse. Wayne Gretzky went there.
Okay.
And I saw his limo there that night. It was a Sunday night, right when I think like the first time LA played the Ottawa Senators.
Okay.
Gretzky was playing. And it was back when, I don't know if you remember this, but back when the Senators played at the Civic Center. The first 2 years.
Oh, the other, yeah.
It was really cool. And I remember seeing the limo and being like, Wayne Gretzky's in the next spot. I can't even believe it. Have I ever told you my Wayne Gretzky story?
Now you have. No. But no, I hadn't heard it until...
I'm talking a lot, sorry. ThailaVision's Reveal podcast.
This is it. It's not Thaila Talks for, endlessly.
Yeah, just
I want to
me
hear
endlessly
Well,
talking.
you've got... Yeah, well, I mean... your experiences and that's why I invited you here to talk with you and have to listen. And now I know your Wayne Gretzky story. I did not know that.
Well, I'm going to tell you. Well, no,
wait, hold on. There's another story. Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
being a child of watching Wayne Gretzky my whole life, the best thing that ever happened to hockey, right? I'm sure yourself too.
The great one. I mean, there's
the great
I remember watching as a kid. Like the Oilers, right? And the dynasty. It's like Mark Messier. And
so where did Wayne Gretzky go after the Oilers?
He went to the Kings, right?
Yeah.
Straight from
And then where?
Hold the phone.
Where did he finish?
I am drawing a blank.
Really?
Hold on.
Played for 2 other teams after that, if you can believe it.
Yeah. So well, this is bad because I'm totally drawing up. He didn't play for Phoenix, right?
No. He coached Phoenix.
He did coach. Okay.
Owned Phoenix.
Okay, so he owned. Okay.
Yeah.
Heck, I'm not the Rangers, was it?
Yeah, he finished with the Rangers. There was one other team. Had him for I think 1 year.
I'm drawing a blank.
St. Louis Blues. Okay. He went and played with Brett Hull.
Okay.
And,
wow.
Brett Hull was like instrumental. He's like, come and play with me. And he was like, okay. They were like best of friends, right? Like both snipers.
Yeah.
And I just read
being a goalie against play goals, and of course, as you know, that would be like. Did they play on the same line?
Yes. Yeah, power play together.
Damn,
right?
That would be
sick.
Bring it on! Yeah, that'd be awesome.
He told whoever the coach was, I can't remember the name right. It might have been Mike Keenan. He was coaching at the time. Like, you don't coach Wayne Gretzky.
Well,
when you want to play.
Mike Keenan was at the Rangers too, right? When they won the cup, wasn't it Mike Keenan? Maybe it's. Anyways, but okay.
But he was one of those rough kind of a-hole coaches.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were playing a game. What was it? I think it was the beginning of the playoffs. And they didn't go far, right? It didn't end up happening. Maybe second round in the playoffs, but it was the first round. And they lost a game bad in the first round. And the coach made an example out of them. And he said, I have no problem with that. No problem at all. Make an example out of me. I know I'm Wayne Gretzky, but I also have bad games. Yeah. I didn't do well. I'll do that. I'll step up for the whole team and say, we all got to do better. Then I guess he went to the owner, Mike Keenan, and said, don't re-sign him for next year. Because they were mid-salary talks for the next year. It was ready to be signed. Can you imagine doing that to Wayne Gretzky?
Wow.
Of all, like, don't do that to Wayne Gretzky.
Like, that is a shock.
That's terrible. And what about the time it was Crawford, Mike Crawford, whatever his first name was
for the Avalanche?
Yes, he was the Avalanche coach, but he coached Team Canada.
Okay.
Do you remember this against States?
98
gold medal game.
And,
I don't remember what it was. But Korea and Hull and Shanahan, and Yzerman and Sakic.
Yeah.
Yes,
that
we had our team.
Every
Mario,
all the names of the 90s there, like
absolutely.
on that lineup.
Niedermeyer,
because that was
Adam Foote.
That was the first Olympic,
Bork.
the Olympic Games when they opened it up to the pro players to come in. And
do you remember what happened?
I don't.
So I believe something happened to this extent. I think it was the game against the States to put Canada out.
Okay.
And possibly the U.S. won the gold right there, or I could be completely wrong. But it doesn't matter. It was a hockey game and Wayne Gretzky was playing. And he was nearer to the end of his career, right? So, but it's still Wayne Gretzky. And he still had hands, still saw everything, could do anything. So there's Lemieux and all those guys there. And it went to a shootout. Do you not remember this? It was like the biggest U.S. names, Chelios and all those guys against Gretzky and Lemieux and like just Sakic, Adam Foote, and like Ray Bork's on the team and all Yzerman and all the greatest, right?
Yeah.
And so he picks his first three shooters, and doesn't pick Wayne Gretzky. So it ends up coming into the first round of 3 tied 1-1. So now you think, okay, well, who else are you going to go? And pretty much the whole team's taken off their skates now because Gretzky's going to go. And who does he call? Ray Bork. Now, Ray Bork's he's brilliant hockey player. Solid. One of the best defensemen ever.
Yeah.
But if you got Wayne Gretzky sitting beside him, you're going to call Wayne Gretzky. Like, Bork was probably already in his car leaving. You know what I mean?
What?
He's like, well, this game's over.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
Gretzky, take
away.
Yeah,
it's like...
And, like, what are you thinking not putting... And, like, I think there's even a picture of Gretzky kind of sitting back, leaning back on the bench, looking at the coach, kind of like, what? I think you're making a mistake here.
And maybe I just completely was traumatized by that. And just,
I forgot about it for years because I didn't really see how it happened. I don't remember it like that, but I remember reading the story years later, and I'm like, yeah, what are you thinking? Mm-hmm. Why would you not put Gretzky in? You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking?
And thus we learned humans are not infallible. Yeah. Yeah, I don't watch as much hockey. Like I grew up, my dad watched, all the games and it was very much into it. So that's, I love the game, playing the game, actually more of that. So
you're a great goalie.
Thank
you.
You
were on fire this week.
Yeah. Actually, I got to tell you, the past few games, like the guys just bringing it in. We got good turnouts too. We always have
See, last game, this last Sunday was a little slower, a little more sloppy because less guys.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We had what? One too few on, one. We had 4 on the bench. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the previous week we had
one extra.
One extra. So just that makes it, everyone has extra time to get fresh and get,
everyone was
rested.
fast too.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
Hard too.
So, and it's good. And that you brought that together again and put on the community aspect, okay, you did radio, bring people together, but then you also, so I guess I'll bring it in now. We both work together at a brewery, Bo's Natural, just 5 kilometers down the road from here. And that's when I met you back in, I want to say, was this 2013?
2012.
2012, okay.
2013,
All right. Yeah. So that's it. And so you came, so I was.
2013.
By then, I'd started as a driver, delivering beer, but then by the time you came in, I actually had moved on from logistics into the QA and organics compliance.
When did you start there? 2009?
2009, yeah. And Kevin James was my, I guess you could say trainer. It was kind of like the half shift we go through, and then
that's a good trainer.
He was, well, he let me,
I think he told me your training shift was you drove him downtown and dropped him off at a bar.
I think for the market. The market.
Or maybe that was Todd.
We did a few stops, and I mean, so and it's funny because actually, I did not like driving actually, but it was kind of like my journey in careers, like, so growing up on campgrounds, it's kind of funny. Like, I'm more, I guess, introvert, but I'm a musician, so I guess extrovert, but answering phones, like dealing with new people, because it would take me time to the speaking and the talking and words and all that. I'm not as quick, So anyways, but it was kind of out into the fire kind of thing. It was, so I kind of appreciated that, because in a sense, it's like, wasn't baby. He's like, he had the faith in me to, like, you'll swim, you'll fly.
Yeah. Well,
go do it. And
I think it was either you or Todd. He told me your shift was, the first training shift was, you're driving me down to the market and you're going to drop me off at a bar. Yeah. I'm going to meet Jamie and Steve, and then you're going to pick me up after.
There was then it must have been Todd for that. It was kind of similar format. We did a few stops, the market, but then he like then the rest of the ship was me, and it was the van I was doing it. Anyway, cargo van. But but by the time you came in, then I was QA. Different department, but still we worked a lot together, because there's a lot of the organic compliance, lot number of suppliers, and
absolutely,
and of course you have my brother working in your
that's right, Passler worked for us for a while. He was great. It's funny. He's one of the only persons I've ever seen, and I'm not being mean about bringing this up, I've never seen anyone put themselves into a corner with skids, like taking them off the trailer. He boxed himself in. He put the skids down, and we were all like, what have you done, man? Like, off. Okay, so you've taken skids off of the trailer. Yeah. So he took them off and just left them right in behind him, sort of thing, and kept lining them up because he was rushing. Sorry.
No worries.
He was rushing, and all of a sudden he realized, okay, well, I'm going to have to keep moving them out of the way now, because I just left them just outside of the gate, out of the door. And we were all like, what are you doing?
I will now tease him about.
No,
I
won't. Tease him.
But you can't find a more solid work, like those kind of things, and he'll learn quick. And
absolutely.
So
worked hard.
I am a bigger brother, so I have to fight that instinct.
Super. What instinct?
Oh, the teasing, thing, but leveling, like
Yeah, of course.
But that's cool,
he's a
man.
good guy, strong guy, really good shape. Is he still in good shape?
He is, and actually, so I make time for exercise once we can join up with him to do like shoulders and arms, push-ups, whatever. So kind of just got to do bare maintenance, and so. But he's on top of it, and I mean, you guys were in that boxing class back, so
he's the only guy. At Willett Boxing Club. Remember, like, Steve would push us hard cardio-wise. Like, hard. And you have to. But I remember in the classes when we were skipping, we'd skip for like 4 straight minutes. And I remember this one time, it was mostly like more competitive boxing guys. Like, Paz was in there. I was there. My son was there. There were a lot of guys that are like coming every day.
Okay, serious about it.
Yeah, but I mean, within reason. And Steve's like, okay, now, how many of you? He said, try not to trip yourself up, because if you trip yourself up, you got to do 5 push-ups. Next time, 10 push-ups. Next time, 15 push-ups. Paz was the only one that didn't screw up. After like 4 minutes, Steve went down and did probably 20 push-ups or 4 times iterations. Like didn't miss, and he was right in front of me. And I was like, how is this guy doing this? I'm on like 100 now push-ups.
Look at these arms now, but hey, you know, well.
Yeah. He was something else, man. Just like perfect shape, like no body fat, right? Pretty much.
He's someone.
The guy eats like a horse.
Yeah. No, well, it kind of is the
Family
right
thing.
appetite too, but at least he kind of, you know, has the body to show for it. And on that kind of subject, maybe off topic, but at some point, if you do ever cook up another show and whatnot, he'd be great on the mic. I keep pushing him to be like, do like voice acting and stuff. He's great with invitations. Actually, I'll put myself and say, if you ever do like a radio drama program, podcast thing, you should totally do that, man. I mean, that's like,
I'd like to do that. Okay. I should think of doing one of those again.
I mean, it's you know, everyone's used to like now we can just record remotely, send things together. You know,
absolutely.
I mean, we obviously it's nice to get in person and whatnot.
Yeah.
How did you? So now that so you've got we had worked together a few years in logistics. Now you're working not too far.
No.
So
a local place. Good spot to work. Yeah, it's good. It's comfy. It's cozy. I work hard. Manage a lot of stuff. I don't know if I really want to talk about work.
Yeah, you're okay.
And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just like, nah.
I know. I was gonna go in the angle. Actually, I'll try and weave in where I was trying to go with that. Is
segue.
Montebello packing, right? So you guys
packaging,
do the packaging. I mean, so you tubes for various things, and anyways, you deal with supply chains, and again, for me, supply chains, one of my concern slants is, sustainability in practices. Because back when we were working together, that was kind of my angle in that, and so you're dealing with that now, and you're kind of seeing, through the pandemic. So that was my segue into.
We actually just received our first shipment of eco-friendly tube laminate today in Montreal, and we're meeting tomorrow about running trials of like the cutting edge from Germany. On this stuff, and the only other company. Now we're not competing with them, but they make their own tubes because they're so huge. But the only other company that's making tubes like this is Colgate.
Okay. So you're a big league. I mean, who's bigger than Colgate, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like they're making it for themselves. They're that big. They're like the Coke, right?
Okay.
They're Colgate.
I see. Okay.
So they're making their own tubes. We make tubes for other companies, like other toothpaste places and other places for all sorts of tubes, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So the only other company in North America that has trialed this stuff is Colgate, and it's a different product. So we're not, So we're about to trial that. I'm actually pretty excited about it too, to see how it works. But the problem is in North America, it's not established how to recycle this stuff and how to separate. Right? It's the whole
separating it out. Yeah. These mixed, homogeneous, layers of things. How do you?
The cap is one thing. This is that. The label is that. I hate to do this, but I have to take a bathroom break.
Yeah,
I'm
no, totally.
50 years old.
I will tell you what. I'll pause it, and we'll come back.
Right at the beginning.
And we're back. All right.
We're back on ThailaVision's Reveal Studios podcast.
I would say Reveal
on
television. ThailaVision.
Television. And
even I can
absolutely.
Reveal on ThailaVision.
Reveal.
And now, actually, that's something I have to work out. You know how some of the podcasts, it's like, I'm Thaila Riden, and this is Reveal on ThailaVision.
On NPR.
Yeah. And now I present you Sean Cooley.
Yeah.
So
you wanted me to tell you my Wayne Gretzky story.
Yes.
It's not it's a pretty good story because I still have it. So back in those days, when Gretzky was, I guess, the owner of, what was it, Arizona?
The Coyotes?
Yeah. They're not a team anymore, eh? The Yotes?
No?
I don't know. I should know that. Yeah, they are. What am I talking about? Of course they are. It was the Blue Jackets that left.
Blue Jackets are
I can't
Columbus?
remember. No, I could be wrong there too. I should know because I watch a lot of hockey. Anyways, so it was Gretzky's team when he owned it in the first year or so, and they were playing Ottawa. And that week, a guy I was working with brought me a Wayne Gretzky autobiography book to read. It was his book, and it was sitting at my desk. And I kept leaving it there. I kept forgetting it at my desk. And I was working late one night, and my director leaned over my cubicle and said, "Hey, you want to go to the Senators game tonight?" I'm like, "Sure." It's like 2 tickets in the box. And I worked for a big tech company in those days, and the whole thing was the big companies had box seats.
Nice.
All expenses paid, everything paid for. So, and I had been in the box before. I knew it was up in the 400 section, right at the top, right? With all the press and stuff like that. I'm like, just the odd chance that I go to the bathroom and see Wayne Gretzky, I'm going to put this book in my jacket pocket. So Liza and I go. I was just dating Liza then. She met me at the rink, and so they were playing, and whatever happened, we were having a good time in the box, having a couple beers and eating for free, just having a great time talking to people. And the box next to us was empty. Lights off, empty. Then there was people in other boxes. It was the early days of the Sens. They weren't good.
Okay.
Getting hammered all the time.
Okay.
A weeknight game. And I remember, what was it? I had a friend at the game. And he said, "I'll meet you at the bar, Marshy's." It was Marshy's Bar and Grill then. And I went for a beer
Good
between...
wings there.
Yeah, went for a beer between periods with him. Met him there, and we both went back to our seats. Sit down with Liza. "Hi, sorry." And she's like, "No problem, but look." In the box next to us, one light was on, and Wayne Gretzky was sitting there with Gary Bettman, the convener of the league, just talking. The only 2 guys in the box. I'm like, oh my God. He was from here to the other side of the room.
Wow.
Closer than that, way closer. Here to your cat. Jeez. Not in my box, but still right there. Right?
Yeah.
And I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. And over time, I was just like, the rest of the game, I was watching Wayne Gretzky. And by the third period, that box was very full.
Okay.
But as it happened, so we were sitting right on the wall of the box, but in between us and the other box was just glass, like plexiglass, right? And it was to there. And Wayne Gretzky was standing talking to a guy from here to the chair on the other side of the camera away. And I'm just like, I can't even stop staring at him, right? Like, I'm like, I can't believe this is Wayne Gretzky right beside me here. And I said to Liza, I'm like, hand this over to get it signed. Like, please. Because he was signing the autograph, of course. And Liza leans up and gives it to this boy sitting right there. And he just hands it to Wayne Gretzky, and he picks it up and smiles and looks at Liza and smiles at her. And then says, and writes to Sean, Wayne Gretzky.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and handed it back. Yeah. That's my Wayne Gretzky story.
Cool.
Yeah. I still have that book, of course. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
there
you go.
Gretzky story.
Got the great one.
Yeah, he held the book. That I have. Yeah.
The circle is complete.
Yeah, absolutely. It's over. I've had a great life. Yeah. It's over.
What else? Well, okay. So now I have 2 Wayne Gretzky stories from you, and we've talked a lot, so it's like, this is good.
I've talked a lot, yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, please don't be. This is
What's
good.
your cat's name again? Willow?
So Sizzle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sizzle's hanging out with us.
Yeah, he's just lying down and relaxing.
Chilling.
Maybe in this part of the show, I'll put in a picture of Sizzle or call him over. I'll bring him over. Kind of feels like the thing to do now that we call this. Like, people be like, well, what's this cat look like? So how about that's it? I will go grab Sizzle.
Okay.
But now you've got a few pets. Like, you've got cats, dogs.
Quite a few pets.
Okay.
Well, it starts off with
I'll let you.
I've got 3 dogs. I've got 3 dogs, 2 big dogs, and a small little Chihuahua. And there's Sizzle. And I've got 3 cats. And I've got 20 and a half chickens, 22, 23 chickens.
My plans, Mr. Cooley.
Yeah. Awesome cat. Hey, Sizzle.
Well,
it's nice having animals.
Yes.
Nice having animals. But it seems there is a mouse in my kitchen that the cats are kind of like, yeah, we're going to let him go.
Mm.
It's like,
He's
what are you guys doing? Yeah, what are you guys doing?
Mm. Yeah, same.
Hi, Sizzle. Is he going to jump over here, or is that the way he just hangs?
He might jump. Oh no, well, he looked like he's settling in here.
Yeah.
But so
he's nice and furry.
Welcome committee.
Yeah.
But
he was outside for a bit, eh?
Yeah.
So cold.
Yeah, but look,
Sizzle.
he's. I mean, he did ask. Do you want him on? Yeah.
Sure.
All right, here we go. He'll ask to go outside. Takes his, and worst case, there's outbuildings. He can go in and get out of the wind and stuff like that. So, but at night tonight, we're what? Oh God, I think it's going to be -20. So we're in the the winter. Yeah, last day of January. So now we're going to February tomorrow. So
February tomorrow.
Yeah.
30 more days until hopefully we start to see, it is actually, summer's going to come again one day.
Yeah.
I find at the end of February, it's like, okay, we know it's going to come to an end, right?
Yeah, I always look forward to March and
yes, me too.
Like tap a few trees around here and, so you've gone, you're still keeping your artistic side. You're doing, you're helping actually podcasts now, right? So you're that in the new realm. I mean, it's still kind of the scene, but now in the podcast realm. So tell me a bit about,
well, I help a few friends, and right now currently just one because one of them stopped. A friend named Trevor Thompson. Trevor Thompson's Trevor's Pad, the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a weekly or twice weekly podcast that he records.
Twice weekly?
Some weeks.
Okay.
That he records, and I edit it and put in music and this and that, make it a show. And it's actually well done. It's funny, really funny. And so I have some theme music and this and that. And on the latest episodes, I've used Dan Tennant's a 1-minute instrumental of his. It's awesome.
Okay.
Like in between, he does a prologue sort of thing. He talks the show. He said, this is what the show is going to be about. And he goes on a rant. It's Trevor. And,
sorry.
What's that?
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, why are you?
Oh, well, he's doing the cats have to be like, I need to soften you up to, it's like the,
what do they call it? Kneading.
The kneading. Yes.
But you got sharp nails there.
If he's, I can.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think he wants to go anyways now, but it's fine. Yeah.
So that's cool.
So you're starting to fall, bud. You're starting to fall. You're gonna grab on tight here, though.
He's like,
start to fall. So why don't you just let me do this? Right? I like cats. I really do like cats. Yeah. I found I don't know what has happened in the dynamic of our cats, but the oldest cat, Alice, whom we thought was a girl, until we sent him to a vet. So she was fixed when we got her, but then brought her to the vet a year later for something. They're like, no, it's a male. How'd you not know? I'm like, because it's fixed, and we were told it's a female.
Yeah.
So we named him Alice, so stays Alice. He's the boss. He's big.
Al.
He's heavy. Yeah, we call him Al.
Okay. All right.
He's a big guy like this. And we have a black cat named Harold. That's Ebby's cat who lives with us. And then we got an orange cat, a tabby, and that's Murphy.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, Alice has taken a dislike to Harry. Like Harry's got to watch his back. He gets his ass kicked now and again by Alice. I don't know why. Okay. And like it's weird. Like it happens quite often now. And I don't think Harry's in trouble. Like I think he's gonna be fine. But it's just like he doesn't stick up for himself at all. Alice just kicks butt, and Murphy just walks by Alice. No problem.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, with pet dynamics like that, I wonder how old is Alice?
Alice is, I'd say 4 years now.
Okay. Oh,
it's not that old.
Okay,
not
that old. And Harry, older or younger?
2.
Okay, so
Murphy's like, no, maybe they're spaced out, right? Harry's younger. Harold's younger, and it's weird. And it's weird. But Murphy or Harry, the black cat again, that gets his butt kicked. Evie's cat. he'll walk right up to one of the dogs, the big dogs, and just like smack him, and then run. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, no wonder this happens. Ow. It's quite all right.
Asserting, certain dominance. Cats be like, hey, I got these. Don't forget.
Oh, I have to grab this.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm good.
Oh, you are good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. See, that's the thing with video versus radio. But in a sense, though, it kind of that live TV kind of thing, or live radio, I guess, whatever, live medium. I don't necessarily want to cut too much out unless, you know, for those who don't like cats, maybe that could be, some listeners.
Yeah, we might be losing listeners right now, or watchers, because we've got a cat.
Well, big,
He's really starting to claw in here. I might have to move him.
If you need him, let me know. I'll take him off. So, yeah. Now, I know in previous, chats with you and just through the years, I mean, doing events and stuff like that, and I mean, we've done Bo's Oktoberfest, and we've done. So you've been to shows. Okay.
You're just like, what are you doing? He was just like, it would get sharper and sharper, and then he'd move it down and sharper. And sharper. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Yeah.
Okay.
That's weird. I don't know what was going on there. I've never had a cat do that to me.
Yeah.
Okay. But his nails are long.
And that's I don't do his nails, and
he's an outdoor cat.
He has to have nails. Yeah.
Totally get it.
But I usually I have more insulation too, or anyway, sometimes he does his thing. So wanted to ask you, okay, and you've been to shows, so
I'm going to a show tomorrow night.
Who are you gonna see?
Tomorrow night I'm going to Montreal to see Sloan.
Oh,
yeah, Sloan's.
I was just actually checking out one of the Impact magazines, and Sloan from I think it was 1995. So
yeah.
Nice. So and where are they playing?
Montreal. I'm going with Trevor.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to work from the Hawkesbury office in the morning, go to our Montreal office in the aft, and then go from there. Go to Trevor's house, and then whatever.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Trevor's living in Montreal. I keep reading. That's right. That's right. So
he moved there about 6 months ago now, I think.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to stay, but he might stay. Things are starting to pick up for him.
Okay.
But it seems like his comedy world is picking up in Ottawa now that he's living in Montreal, in the way of if he comes back, he gets bigger shows. And so he's a bigger name now. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a 2 hour. That's not, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
How,
So that's why he's thinking, like, I might move back to Ottawa. Who knows?
Well, that's cool. So that's good to hear. I'm happy for Trevor, and happy to hear you're going to see some live music. It's been a while, actually, and I haven't gone to as much concerts as I'd like to. So if there would, any acts that you would highly recommend people go out and see, or acts, I should say, any podcasts,
you know what, you reminded me of something. We should talk about bands we've seen live. Who have you seen live?
It's going to be a very short list.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. Proudly as it. No, I've seen the Tea Party. I've seen a lot of indie bands, but live Foo Fighters.
Live, the band?
Yeah, live. Oh man, it was good.
Yeah.
They opened for Nickelback.
Okay.
So this was, Nickelback was solid.
Yeah,
a lot of people like rag on them. It's like, no, they do good music. It's what they do, the genre. So, so it was Nickelback, it was girl I was with at the time, Natasha. So we had checked Nickelback live, and I want to say, was it Black Dahlia who opened it for live? Or either way, live was opening up. And I'm like, I would have, you know what I mean? For me, live would have been the
headliner.
The headliner. But anyways, great show. Foo Fighters was a great show. What was it? Evanescence, Billy Talent.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Cool. That's, yeah. How about you?
I've seen a lot of concerts. Yeah. That's one of the things. If I want to see a band, I will buy tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I had tickets to go see James Brown when he died. So, yeah. I never ended up seeing him. Who did I see? I've seen Pearl Jam probably 6 or 7 times. I've seen Rush probably 6 or 7 times.
I need to borrow that Manhattan concert, or like you were mentioning. I have not seen Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam?
Yeah.
Just YouTube it. It's not Manhattan. It's Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
It's the best concert, man. It's so good. So good. Just saw them in September in Ottawa. It's great. Bought the tickets before COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
It was supposed to be March 20th, Liza's birthday.
Okay.
March 13th, the world shut down, remember?
Yeah.
That was a weird...
I was supposed to see CHUO April 28th, and then everything
Did they ever postpone things?
You know what? I got the refund, and I haven't checked
really
see if they've come back.
See,
yeah.
I played the long game on the Pearl Jam.
I think I should have done that. I guess I didn't know how long things were.
But have they started playing again, too?
I don't know. I haven't checked. Like
contractually,
because I was gonna go. My brother's a big Tool fan, and so.
Amazing.
So I'll have to ask him and see what's happening. Like, we should go and get that done soon if they're. But I had read something along the lines. I don't know if they are touring. So I think that's probably why I'm like, there's time.
So I've seen the Rolling Stones probably 5 or 6 times.
You know what?
At least
they were when they were in Ottawa, like around 2010 or 2000. Sorry, it was 2009, 2008, 2009. I was game testing at Magnet Games in the market, I'm forgetting the venue.
Civic Center.
Frank Live 88.5 did a lot of stuff out of that.
It was
it was like
mean?
a small little club. I never
a bar?
A club. I actually never went in, and I'm like anyways, the Stones did a music video there, and it was just one of those situations you mentioned. Yeah. Anyways, but that must have been a show. Like,
the Stones were great, and then they were terrible. The worst concert I've ever seen was the Stones.
Really?
I was so let down the last time I saw them.
Okay. Well, how long?
Do you remember that SARS Fest? Remember SARS?
2003. Yeah.
Okay, so that show.
Bad Religion was playing. I think that lineup. I don't know why that stuck out, but
maybe I don't remember seeing.
But I remember driving on the 417 and hearing like I should have.
No, that wasn't in Ottawa. That was in Barrie.
Was it in Barrie?
Yeah, Molson Park.
They came.
Yeah.
Was it? Then someone else. Then it was Bad Religion, I think, in Ottawa. Well, anyways,
possibly.
But you're right. The Stones would have played. Toronto SARS.
Well, SARS Fest. It wasn't their show, but it was their show, right?
Right.
They were the headliners of all the huge bands that were playing. Like Rush played Guess Who, Tragically Hip. You name it.
Yeah.
Played. Like all the big Canadian-esque bands. I think I don't even know who else played. That was a long day. We were there. It was. Might not have even been Barrie. I think it was. There's a bigger venue in the Toronto area, or it used to be, anyways. It was massive. It's like where the Pope goes,
right?
You know what I mean? But that was such a depressing show to watch them. Like I didn't know what song was what. They all sounded the same.
Really? Okay.
But I had seen them like 4 times, 5 times leading up to that, and they were good shows.
Okay.
Although they've always been. It's a show.
Right.
They don't do great music. Right, their live music is not great.
Right.
So, well, it is and it isn't. Right. You won't hear what you heard on the record.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's better now that there's more, I think, computers involved.
Okay.
But and they are still good musicians, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's an event.
Yeah.
Who else I've seen? I've seen Stone Temple Pilots a few times.
Cool.
Original lineup, of course. Seen Sloan quite a few times. Wow, who else? I saw.
They were good, yeah.
God, who else have I seen? A lot of shows, man.
Got to say, for Sloan, lucky that when they played Oktoberfest, and actually, the drummer Adam was a cool guy. So actually, he actually they had his set, and so I got his stick. So I'm like, So I got
they're good
mojo,
guys.
yeah.
Remember Trevor and I? Yeah, as it happens, what's the lead singer's name? Chris. One of the lead singers.
I think it's Chris.
I think his name is Chris.
Terrible name.
We ended up getting. Were you in Philly at the CBC in Philly?
No, I wasn't at that one. Portland and Washington.
We ended up, for some reason, meeting up with him and a bunch of other like Toronto type musician-y people. Trevor, like we knew who they were, and there were a few people with us, Bose people, that knew who they were, so they were kind of around us. We ended up getting into a car with Chris that night.
Okay.
He was driving too. It was his car. I don't know why he had a car in Philly, but
driving.
Yeah.
You're being chauffeured by
it was weird.
Chris from Sloan.
And I remember like we were drunk. And he wasn't drunk at all. And we got in. I could tell he was like, "Who are these clowns? Like who asked these guys to come in?" We were drunk, right? So
awesome.
But, who else have I seen?
I was gonna say, where did that car ride? Okay, no, but yeah, who?
So I've seen A Tribe Called Quest live. I've seen
Nice.
Public Enemy live. I've seen the Beastie Boys live. I've seen EPMD live. I've seen LL Cool J live. I've seen Rakim live. My band opened for a whole pile of bands. God, I don't even remember them all. The Hieroglyphics were one. Souls of Mischief. A whole bunch of bands. We had a lot of good shows. Organized Rhyme, Tom's band, a bunch of times.
Nice.
Did a bunch of touring with them. A bunch of punk bands from Ottawa, like Furnace Face, Punch Buggy. We played lots of shows with those dudes. We recorded in around the same studios downtown Ottawa. Have you ever heard of Furnace Face?
No.
Never heard of Furnace Face?
No.
Really? They were late 80s, 90s.
Culturally deprived here, which is I have surprising gaps in music knowledge.
Yeah,
which,
I noticed that.
Yes. I need my education. I've kind of,
But, what other bands? God, I've went to a Celtic music festival before out in Cape Breton, the first one in 2001, might have been 2000.
It was the first one. Okay.
2000, maybe 99. Celtic Music Festival. Who else have I seen? I've seen.
Who'd you say was
Tragically Hip a pile of times?
Okay, because that segues into my who is the best live band? Who is the performance that you would? Tomorrow's your last concert ever to watch. It could be back and
Honestly, Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm a big Rush fan.
I wish I had gone to see them, especially with Neil Peart, and I can only So event.
I saw Rush maybe 3 or 4 times. No, at least 3 or 4 times. What am I talking about? My first concert was them in the Grace Under Pressures tour. It's like 88 too. I was young. I got tickets back in the Newbridge high-tech days, the early high-tech days. I bought tickets in the same box. Must have been another box they had in the 400 section to watch Rush. Okay. So sit in a box. Free beer, free everything, free food, and you're sitting in a chair, but you're looking right down on the stage.
Wow.
And it literally was looking down on the stage. It was right beside it. So we're looking down on the drum kit. Wow. That was one of the best concerts I've ever been to because they put on a spectacular show. Like they're better than the album. Wow. More perfect, more like in tune, more on time, more tight.
Imagine that kind of band. That's it. They only will get better with age once they get the songs locked.
God, yeah. AC/DC. I've seen them. They were at that Molson SARS Fest. They were the best, actually.
Yeah? Okay.
You know what? One thing I noticed, and I tell a lot of people this, that show, that whole day was crazy, right? Like just absolutely mountains of people everywhere. It was a huge, huge festival. People were coming and going, and it was middle of the summer. It was roasting. People were passed out on the grass and drinking and smoking, and it was just mayhem. And
because it was free or super cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap.
Okay.
We took a bus from Ottawa, 3 of us, and the whole bus ride down, everyone's drinking and smoking. Wow. And that's back in the days. Like, we didn't know anyone on the bus either. As soon as we got on, we're like, we're going to see the Stones. Everyone's partying.
2003, so
everyone was partying. Is that when it was? 2003?
Yeah, SARS, that would have been about 2003 when it hit.
So, AC/DC, so there was like the Hip, the Guess Who, Tragic, like all of them. All of the great Canadian bands at the time. And then the sun was starting to go down. And it was a beautiful night at this point. It was burning hot all day and then it cooled down and the sun was coming down. So it was really nice. And people were getting closer and closer to the stage. The Stones are coming on. AC/DC's about to hit. AC/DC was opening for the Stones.
Wow, okay.
The second AC/DC hit the stage and played a note, it seemed like every bra in the place came off. It was like, whoa. It was awesome.
Okay.
And it was like, wow, this is cool, man. Like, it was just one of those things. The show was great. Like, it was AC/DC, right? They get everyone just so right into it. Who else have I seen live? I've saw a lot of indie shows in Ottawa, right? I took part and went to a lot of the shows and a lot of the bars. I went to Zaphod Beeblebrox for years. You know that place? You heard of it? Say deliver. Yeah.
Delivered.
Where would you deliver there? Downstairs?
No, we'd go through that side. So the Dominion and the Zaphod that
You go in the back?
It's just the center.
The alley. Yeah.
The alley, but it's covered, so it's like, I don't know, like a garage shared space. And is there like a stair downstairs? I think a lot of the times oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on where the cold room was. Was there stairs? I don't know if not big stairs.
Well, there would have been stairs up to the bar, or there was downstairs.
I don't think I had to bring beers into the bar and Zaphod stuff.
No,
actually, there's one memory though of having to roll a keg. I think maybe she might have been out at the fridge, and I think I had to roll because I think there would have been a kegerator or some kind of thing set up.
Oh yeah,
but usually I was able to put them in like the cold room, and then the empties were all on the. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I've seen the Headstones.
Yeah.
I've seen a whole bunch of bands that I've like forgotten the names of. God, who else have I seen? I've seen a lot of interesting bands. A lot of bands that have come and gone too, like a really, really cool early rap group out of Canada, a black dude and a white guy, called Shades of Culture. They were really, really good.
Based out of
Montreal, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Shades of Culture. Who else?
I got to get so I'm going to commit that. Like, you're curating my cultural education.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah.
Well, remember, there was Paul's boutique. Though I think Gary's would have been
Gary's boutique. That's right. That's what you said.
He was like, So I still have to listen to the Beatles' White Album. So those. So okay. Yeah. So now we have Shades of Culture.
Shades of Culture. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Shades of Culture. They were really good. A lot of good rap groups, right? A lot of good. Maestro Fresh West was from Canada.
Okay.
Now I've noticed him online as Maestro Chef Wes, and he's got like a cooking show. I don't know if it's depressing or not to see that, but
does he say like some chef? It was that Italian chef guy we used to watch like as a kid on TV, and he'd be singing, doing that. That could work, you know.
I don't know. I wouldn't watch it. Rapping when he's
got some eggs, slice some good, put on some bacon. I don't know.
Yeah, Maestro Fresh West. You would remember a song, "Let Your Backbone Slide."
Oh,
no,
I'd have to hear it.
Big Canadian rap song, like huge song.
It's
Let Your
neurons are like,
slide.
hey, but I'm like,
you should remember this. You were born in when?
82.
1990. So maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't remember it. 90, 91, I think that came out. Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Probably around that. Maybe a little later. I'm not even sure.
So we'll say what's the song again? So we go to
Let Your Backbone Slide.
Let Your Backbone Slide.
Maestro Fresh West.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Who else have I seen live? I've seen, I said Public Enemy. That was one of the best shows. That was one of the first shows I went to by myself, for sure, too.
Nice.
Who else? Saw what's his name? I'm gonna forget names now. Yeah.
Well, while you think of that, I want to ask you. So, who do you say as artists that are present day who act? Who's if you're gonna pop in and listen to some, what would you be checking out?
Sorry for yachty here.
Okay.
There's a new bluegrass. They've been around for at least 10 years. Bluegrass band. I think more than 10 years. They're called Green Sky Bluegrass.
Okay.
Green Sky Bluegrass. They're unbelievable. They've many albums, 7 or 8 albums.
Okay.
Just beautiful stuff, man. They came out with a like a live box set sort of thing of like a 5 CD thing, because they're kind of big now, A 5 CD set of them doing really, really good versions of many of their big songs.
Okay.
But live in a rehearsal hall.
Okay.
During COVID. And it was called the Leap Year Sessions.
Okay.
They called it Leap Year, COVID. It was really cool because they left it open too. Like you hear them talking before songs and like feedback a little bit and this and that. It was really good. And they just came out with a new album called Stress Dreams. It's very, very good.
Okay.
But they're like a rockabilly, I don't even know what to call a rockabilly bluegrass band.
Okay. With rapping for singing?
No.
Okay, just rockabilly bluegrass. Green Skies Bluegrass.
Green Sky Bluegrass.
Okay.
Yeah. They're constantly touring.
I'm going to have to check them out.
They're very good.
Okay.
Very, very good. And so it's bluegrass, traditional bluegrass. So there's no percussion. There's stand-up bass. There's a guy that plays his guitar like Jeff Healey.
Yeah.
He's great. Mandolin, banjo. Mandolin and a banjo. Two different guys, and that's it. And then another acoustic player.
Okay.
So good, man. It's so good. Oh, they're so great. Who else have I haven't seen them, but I would like to see them bad. I keep talking to them on Facebook saying, like, when's Canada? When's Ontario? Have you heard of Ontario before?
You got to send it out.
Yeah.
Sean, you got to be like, get a bunch of, get Kevin James on that too. You know, get all the local, like, yeah. I'll reach out to my.
I don't think Kevin would go see these guys. I don't think he'd be in them.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Who knows? What am I saying? But they did actually play Stowe, Vermont, within this month, January. They played midway through the month.
How far is that? Like
3 hours away.
That's not bad.
Stowe's beautiful. Have you ever been there?
No.
Oh, we went there this summer. It was beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. It's where Stowe is where Hetty Topper is from. Remember that beer?
No.
The Alchemist? No? It was like the first.
Wait, yes.
Hetty IPA.
But I didn't know there were. Okay, so
yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of where that beer started. Like Hetty Topper was the first huge international, national beer that is like you got to be like this beer.
Okay.
And they're pretty good. I'll give you some of their stickers. I still have them.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good beer.
3-hour drive. Okay, well then maybe that's
Stowe, Vermont's a beautiful spot too. Like year round. Summer is beautiful. Winter skiing, beautiful. Mountain biking in the summer. But it's awesome. Stowe, Vermont.
How do you spell that?
Stowe.
Okay.
Stowe. Nice. And it's very it's a green state. It's very Canadian like.
Okay.
That state. I really, really enjoyed like the main street of Stowe. It's like a small little town, like a Van Cleek Hill, but a big, huge community of like tourists. That's their business. That town, right? Because they got mountains and they got everything in the summer, hiking and trails and stuff like that. But right off the main street, so a little American town, right off the main street is the town cemetery, and it's full. And there's graves in there from like the 1700s. Like I walked around. I love that stuff.
Wow,
sort of like the history. I've talked to you about that.
Yeah.
The history of where this town and how things happen, and gravestones and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have you go through the archives here at one point. The musical magazine.
Well, you posted something last night, and Jeff was talking about the Silver Fox there. Ron McMunn.
Right. Then I have to talk to Jeff about that too, Jeff Holtby. And he should be here this weekend, actually, on Friday, coming for a jam.
Yeah, he said he would.
Yeah,
that's right. He's a good guy.
Yeah, man.
Such a nice dude.
Yeah.
Is he working down there?
Yes.
Is he?
It was. So I still go to the brewery, and so now with the distillery there, there's still botanicals that they do for their gin production, and so I pick up the berries and whatever else they're brewing with, and. So anyways, there was one time, and it was kind of like a blast from the past, where I go picking up the botanicals, and like Ford's coming down from the roof, and I'm like, okay, so maintenance for you still? Like they had called him in to patch something, and then I go inside and say, and then my buddy Sean's Vec. He works was working at the brewery more on the bottom line.
Okay.
I don't know if you met him, but you know Pierre Lalonde, kegger.
Yeah.
And then Joanne Cummings was there, and then Mary Frank. Anyway, so and I'm like, it's the who's who of who, all the
old schoolers, yeah.
The old band.
I ran into Ford maybe just a little bit before Christmas. Good to see him.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed at all. At all. He looks good.
I think he's on that same where it's like he's keeping active. He's doing. I think, like you were saying, mental health and having a good frame of mind. I think
also with him, one thing keeping him young is he's got his grandson, right? He's looking after his grandson.
Yes.
So that's keeping him young. That's keeping him hopping, man, like big time.
I remember
Liza worked with her grandson, his grandson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forget do you know remember his name? I forget it too. Shoot, all right, sorry Ford if you're watching this, and I will. Anyways, it might come back to me. Yeah, send the request and it goes. But either
so
way,
that keeps anyone young, right?
Yeah.
So he looked good talking away to him.
Mm-hmm.
He said he had hurt himself. Actually, he did say he hurt himself in his rib, I think, and he said it was taking a while to recover. And he said I was starting to get worried, so I went in and got it checked again. They're like, no, it's just taking long to recover, so just take it easy. He's like, but I can't. It was funny with him, eh? Like it just at the end of a work day, 4:00, he'd walk around and give everyone shit. Just give everyone shit. No, you're doing this wrong. Why are you doing this? I'm gonna move your desk. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you hassling me right now?
He's the fixer. He's get up. Oh, he's good though, and good, like you say, good energy and just that fountain of youth, But we had a lot of at that brewery good people, and that's it was, and this the convergence thing happening. It was beautiful, and that's anyway, with the beauty of keeping in touch, you do a better job than I do. I try to reach out, but it's far easier actually the way I work to host something and people come than to that's kind of me.
Yeah,
so
okay,
but
I try to keep in touch with certain people, right?
Yeah.
Certain people I don't mind letting go. Mm-hmm. Not in a mean way. It's just like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, as you go through life's road, right? People walking along the same path you are and stuff like
Absolutely.
That's it. We kind of meander. Like I meander to your path.
Well, we play hockey.
Well, we do the hockey thing, which is nice. Yeah.
So we talk.
Damn.
But in the summer, we don't talk much because we're not playing hockey.
No.
I wish we were playing hockey in the summer.
Well, what about ball hockey? That's a bit more. That's running though. That's tough because it's
really hard on the body.
Yeah. I haven't done that since high school, so it's like
that's a tough one. Man. It's hard on the old knees. There's no coasting, right? There's no coasting.
Nope. You got to propel you exactly. It's all.
I remember playing. I don't even know how many years, like 20 something years ago. No, it wasn't that long, but 17 years ago. Working at a place called Smart, and there was a guy that, that's right, a guy that lived in the same town as my wife's parents did, and we lived just outside, and all the guys sitting around the same age, mid-20s, on a whatever night, would meet at the outdoor rink in town in the summer, but the boards are still up, and play ball hockey. But everyone's smoking and beers and stuff like that, right? But we'd play hockey, but we would actually play hockey, 2 goalies get dressed. And I remember asking this guy, he's like, I'm not much of a hockey player, but I'll come. I could walk over. I'm like, sure. And he's played hockey before, but he's out of shape and this and that. And it was the first time running and playing hockey for a while outdoors, right? And so he right when he first got up, first shift, gets out there, just put a smoke out too. I remember it really well. Just put it out and ran into the corner. The ball went past him into his corner, and he was running back to get it. And I guess he thought he could coast. And he just stopped running and just fell straight forward. But he had been running and just stopped. And so he just went like this and did the wave.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or the worm.
Yeah.
Up on his chin, though. Didn't put his hands down or nothing. I don't know what was going on.
Probably was the best thing he could do.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't because
not to transfer it into.
No.
Because if you land.
No, I guess so. But he almost stood up on his face.
Yeah.
And sliced his chin wide open. Had to get stitches. He hadn't even touched the ball yet. So I hate to say
Ball
this, I got to
hockey is
leave in
tough.
15. I got to be gone.
Yeah,
in
man.
15.
Okay, well, tell you what. I mean, as soon as
No,
you
it's
gotta-
not the wife. It's I got to pick up my son
Yeah,
at 9.
all good, man. Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Family
Yeah.
matters, man, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, we can ease out, and
Yeah.
you know, been a while for ball hockey. Anyway, but all that to say is that definitely have to do something. So this summer in terms of getting people together. 2023, you know, people
Yeah,
coming back, you know, and we're
2023.
kind of
Yeah.
so any
Get doing stuff again.
upcoming so any upcoming kind of project you're thinking of cooking? I know you got stuff that you're moon racking on your hard drive, but like anything that you working with Trevor, all these things. What?
Do I have anything coming? Well, in the next few weeks, we're gonna have to start assembling the lights and the racks in the garage to get Liza's summer plants going. Right?
Yeah.
Get the seeds going.
And her,
all
could
the-
you?
the
What's
flowers.
her? Speak about
So
her.
my wife Liza has her own flower farm called White Barn Blooms. White Barn Blooms. So on Instagram and Facebook and the whole deal. Get in touch with her. Bouquets and all sorts of ornamental. You can come there and take pictures, and it's good little business for her. She makes lots of arrangements, and she makes some other arts and crafts sort of stuff for around the house. People love her. Not candles, sorry, soap bars as well. Anyways, yep, we're gonna have to get that going in the garage. So we're gonna have to organize some space, put them together. But we got like Metro racks now, and we got the lights all set up. So we put some money into it last year,
Okay.
and yeah, it's gonna be a little easier this year. Last year, we ordered 2 Metro racks. Okay, they were $100 each, and then another $100 each rack for lights.
Okay.
So we ordered, and while assembling, the second rack was missing one pole, so I couldn't put it all together. So I got in touch with it was Wayfair. Okay,
Yeah.
2 big heavy boxes came, and so one was missing a pole. So I got in touch with them right away. What's gonna happen? Okay, I'll get this to you right away. Week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, nothing. 3 weeks goes by. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, really sorry about that. We can't just ship you a piece. We got to ship you a full rack. And I'm like, well, then get on it. Like, what? Do it. Like, it's the end of February now. We're about to put the seeds in. Get going. Okay, really sorry about this. Another 2 weeks go by, and I get a call, and they're like, we're really sorry about this, and we made a mistake, and we sent you the wrong piece. And I'm like, well, it's not even here yet. And so because of that, Sean, we're going to send you another rack for free. I'm like, okay, just get it to me right away. Okay. So I'm expecting the wrong piece to come and another rack finally, but I'm probably waiting for another 2 weeks. And the next day, a full rack shows up. Another full rack, set it up. I'm like, great. And then another week or two, another rack shows up. So now I've got like 4, but one of them is missing one pole.
Right.
And I can easily fix that, but I haven't because I don't need 4 racks. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting. Yeah. I forgot all about that until just now. Yeah, we're going to have to get all the lights set up here and get the garage going, get all the seedlings going. Liza's ordered a pile of seeds from all over North America.
Gosh, I'll have to go and check out,
you should.
you know.
There was a big article Reed did in the review last year on her. It was great. Yeah, nice pictures.
That is one good. Thanks for mentioning the review paper. That whole connection actually between the radio show and review out of the same building, in fact. So
yeah, that's right.
Tying that in. So yes, White Barn
Blooms.
Okay.
Because we got a white barn, and she's got blooms. So you know what I'm saying?
Writes itself.
Absolutely.
I'll have to check that out. Well, Sean, I think on the bloom of friendship and on the bloom of the show, and I think that I'm taking that old tired horse out on that analogy, but I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
And coming
Thanks,
out
Thaila.
and having a good chat. And
right.
I'll have to have you over definitely for more chats. And
yeah, for sure.
Time
just went fast.
Yeah. Well,
and I was here for a while, but time went fast.
Yeah. I want to get. I'd like to end each conversation I have with if there's anybody that you think you'd like to see me talk with or catch up with, or because that's.
Well, again, I think Kevin would be fun.
Yeah, Kevin would be fun. Yeah.
Todd.
Todd Gilbert.
Jeff
Holpe. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Dan Tennant.
You know what? That's a good point.
Yeah, he's very good.
I'll have to give him a shout. It's been, thank you. Yeah.
Yep. That's right. Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, I was going to say you were going to say another name too. And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, was I?
No, it seemed like you were. I want to thank you again. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks.
It's been awesome, man. So
all right, let's wrap it.
I'm going to try to remember those names too. Moon Rappin'.
Oh,
and okay. Right. So actually, one maybe to close it on is there anything? So is there like a Facebook page you maintain? You mentioned Moon Rapping. So is SoundCloud link? Or?
Yeah, it's on SoundCloud. Moon Rapping, Facebook, YouTube, whole deal. Moon Rapping. White Barn Blooms, my wife's little business, flowers. It's on Instagram, Facebook. Get in touch with her. Absolutely. Trevor's Pad, the podcast. Okay. Trevor Thompson, Trevor's Pad, the podcast. Usually twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Well-produced show. What else? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you again there, Sean.
Thanks, Dale.